So we're going to be talking about PR. I like talking with an audience instead of at an audience. If you are the type of person who has any questions, I'm going to be watching the audience. And I'd actually prefer it if more people would kind of move further up so you can ask questions and I can watch the audience. And one person is moving. I don't know if they're leaving or if they're coming up. You coming up? No, he's leaving. All right, then. All right, we're going to talk about PR. Do you know why would you do PR? Why do you do PR? Publicity, yes, publicity, but publicity for what? What's the point of it? You have to have a goal. Tell the audience about yourself. Sales. All right, why else do you do PR? Branding. Sales. Okay, hiring. You want to get a good engineer? People have to know you exist, and you better be a sexy company if you want a really good engineer. They're not going to go to just anywhere. So for hiring, PR is important. That's local PR. Why else? Okay, signals to the VCs, signals to your competitors, messages that you're trying to get out, a pivot, change in the marketplace. It's not just necessarily sales related. There's a lot of different reasons why you end up doing PR. Now, people, does anybody here follow companies? 1, 2, 3, they're all the marketers in the room. How many of you follow people? You have any friends on social media at all? You're on Facebook, something, anything? Okay, so more of you follow people. People tend to follow people, and they follow companies less. And that's the reason why you want to build up thought leadership. And this is not moving. That's not moving. Am I going the wrong way? Am I just going to do the talk from my head? Why is this not working? Okay, now it is. That's me. I am the CEO and lead strategist of a PR and design agency. So yes, this is what we do. I'm the founder of the SaaS Insider podcast. So if you have a SaaS company and you'd like to be interviewed on the podcast and you are over a year old and actually have stories to tell, get in touch with me and I'll have you on the podcast. We've worked with several different companies. Okay, back to this. You're doing this? Because I'm not touching it. Yes? No? All right. One of the things that I do in my free time, every year I tend to give at least a week to volunteering to work with startups in developing regions to teach and mentor startups. Because if you can get a win in a developing region, you can literally change a country. And I think that's important. And I have a pedigree. I have an MBA from Kellogg. Okay. We've worked with several different companies, as you can see, most of them in the SaaS space, but not all. And keep going. Okay. Gap analysis. We're going to start with figuring out where you're at, and then figure out where you want to go to, and then how you get there. So tactics will come, but they'll be last. Gap analysis. What does Google think of you? What do people think of you? So if they're searching for you online, what shows up? Google. All right. So I did this for myself. And so this is what you're going to end up doing, all right? You go and look up, all right, on incognito. Don't do this on social search. You have to make sure that you've got nothing connected to you. Okay, so on incognito or on someone else's machine, you do a Google for yourself, and you see what comes up. And as you could see, there's enough. So this just keeps moving. All right, and it has, next slide. And then you also do, not just for a search on Google, but you also want to check out images and videos and news. All right, we've got the swing of this. I guess it's not working for PDFs to this. It's kind of useless, isn't it? All right, we'll just fit this down. So, where are you in all of these different places? And is it representing you the way you want to be represented? Keep going. And if you don't have anything out there, if you really don't have a presence, you can figure out from your friends, So I went onto Facebook, and I'm like, all right, how many words? 4 words. What 4 words would you use to describe me? So I asked my friends. Fortunately, my friends are savage, and they told me exactly what they thought. So I didn't have to worry about that. Keep going. Okay. Now, how are you branding yourself? Because it's the people who represent the company. Every person in a company is doing marketing, whether they realize it or not. Because every person you know that knows that you work in whatever company you work for, you're representing that company. And however you behave and everything that you do, online and offline, represents that company. So how are you branding yourself if you're going to be a thought leader in order to grow your company to become a category leader, which is what you're aiming for? So here's Robin, who we all know and love, and he's the founder over at TechEU. And as you can see, he's got the brand right at the top, all right? So he's showing off the brand well. Next. What do people think of Robin? So this is not the lists that he's following. This is, I love you. All right. This is the lists that other people have put him on. Why is this important? Because your brand, your company, your personal brand, whatever, is not what you think of you. It's not what you want other people to think of you. It's what other people think of you. Okay? Your perspective doesn't matter. It's not about you, it's about them. So you need to figure out, are you giving out the impression that you're aiming to give? Next. Now, okay, Facebook, it's personal. So he's got a personal hero image of his beautiful boys. And then you'll see the apple in the mouth, which gets repeated on Twitter. So the personal brand continues. And again, here, now on Facebook, he doesn't have TechEU because that's personal. But on the other hand, we've got TechEU again here on Twitter, and he repeats what he has from LinkedIn. Keep going. Now, strategy. How do you figure out how to put it all together? Any questions so far? Why not you? You're like the perfect person to aim for. All right, PR strategy, building up thought leadership. Next slide. What's your goal? There is absolutely no point in doing anything if you do not have a goal. And that goal must be, next slide, SMART. Okay, specific, measurable, achievement, blah, blah, blah. You've got all this. This will be in the deck on SlideShare. Keep going. Now, what are your thoughts? If you're going to be a thought leader, if you're running a company, you're in a vertical or a niche of some sort, most likely. Now, how are you going to get known as the company and the expert for this vertical? Okay? Where are you going to show up? Let's say Follows, which is a client of the agency. It's a MarTech company. So they're going to show up in the MarTech. They're going to show up in MarTech publications. Okay? I am extremely jet lagged, hungover, and haven't had enough sleep. So it's been an awesome week. All right. So to be able to be a thought leader, what are your thoughts? Everything you do has a goal in mind. You need to be passionate about something. You need to have a strong opinion. What motivates you? So these are the things you need to be asking yourself in order to figure out where you want to be going. Next. And then, okay, you have an idea of where you want to be going. What keywords do you need to rank for? Because to get known for it, you know, where are you going? So Google Trends is great for this. You could check out keywords, long form, short, and be able to figure out, okay, which is the best one and gets the most traffic. You also can test it. Maybe it gets less traffic, but it's way more specific traffic that's perfect for your niche. So then you want to go after that. You don't have to take pictures. You'll get all of this on a Google slide. Or not slide, SlideShare. Okay, good. Next. And another thing that you can look at is who's ranking for what you're looking for on, say, Twitter. So fortunately, and it's probably because, of course, I follow it, but my agency is #1 when I looked up PR agency. Next. Now, this is the one thing I want to make sure that all of you walk away with after this talk. The best way to build yourself up is to build up others, okay? So these 4 guys are friends. It's Sean Ellis, Hitan Shah, Stella Yefty, and Andrew Chen. They all have their own companies, and they're all in collaborative space, okay? They're not competitive with each other. They're all known, so Stelly's known for sales, Hitan's known for marketing, and so is Sean. Sean was over at Dropbox in the very beginning of the day, and Andrew was over at Uber before everything hit the fan. These guys are famous for marketing and sales, and they tweet each other, share lists, do projects, have a podcast, whatever. They're always building each other up. They're not doing it alone. Figure out who you know, who maybe has more followers than you, maybe not yet, and you're going to work to build each other up. Like actually what Sean on before me, what he was talking about if you both have 0, that's still 0. Well, these guys started out 0 together, but built each other up over the years. So if you're just starting out, it's okay. But if you're going after something bigger, it's always better to collaborate with somebody who's got more than you. Complementary skill sets. Find your friends, build each other up. Next. Again, thought leadership is about making individuals the face of your company. Be careful. I don't know if anybody here knows much about the US, but there was a whole debacle about Subway sandwiches. The guy that they had representing them on social media turned out that he was a pedophile and went to jail. And that put a big, huge black mark on Subway sandwiches. Now, he didn't work for Subway. He was just a guy who really liked Subway sandwiches, lost a lot of weight eating Subway sandwiches. And so Subway said, hey, come, be our evangelist. And for a while, he was a face of Subway. Well, that can be for you, that could be against you. Be very careful who you choose. And if they end up leaving the company, we'll make sure first that they end up leaving in a really nice way. And secondly, they transfer over that thought leadership to somebody else, that you're building somebody else up as they're transitioning out. Now, here's the other thing. You're building up the thought leadership. It's not just one contributing piece in a vertical journal. It's going to have to be consistent, regular, and actively managed. You're not going to get this done without doing it all the time. Yes? That's a great question. No. Okay, so the question was, does it always have to be the founder who is in the front? It actually does not. Usually, and if you look at, let's say, Amazon, for example. So Jeff Bezos is often in the news. He's got a page on Facebook, and there's tons of things about him. But the one who's actually more actively speaking to the community is Werner, who's traveling around all over the place, and he's the CTO. So the CEO needs to focus on building the company. They don't have time. So either somebody's managing it for them, and this person is not a junior. They're going to have to be able to speak like a senior and have the experience of it. It is not a junior that you're just taking straight out of college. You need to make sure that this person has years of experience in order to be the voice of the CEO, but they're managing it for them. But the one who actually goes and travels around needs to be somebody who has the time. So it's usually either a CTO or a CMO, but somebody in the C-suite. Okay, so it's definitely an exec. Next one. Your brand is a promise made and kept. Do you understand what this means? Yes, no, I'm not seeing any nods. Yes, okay, thank you. It means don't just say, oh, I love it when I see LinkedIn that says guru. Really? Okay, pass. Yeah, don't just say you're an expert. Show me that you are, okay? That's like if somebody comes up and says, I'm very fashionable, you're like, okay, if you have to say it and I can't just see it by looking at you, there's something wrong there. So, you have to show it. Next. This is a brand map. You're going to be able to look at it later. Keep going. Okay. No, I think you skipped. Yes. Now, how to do it. We're going to talk tactics. We've got 10 minutes to talk tactics. Next. Thought leadership. Opinion. Do you have one? I've said this before. I'll say it again. Now, here's the thing. Where are you sharing your opinion? Are you sharing it in a place where you're actually going to be able to get an audience and be found by more people? Okay? And then, is it actually getting a reaction? When I posted, well, I didn't post. When my contributing piece in Marketing Profs was posted, the website traffic, my website traffic went up. The post was, the first day that it was on Marketing Profs, I think ranked as #1. Then for the rest of the week, it ranked as #2 for the post on the site. And our traffic skyrocketed. My LinkedIn skyrocketed. I could see the results everywhere. We got an opportunity from it. We've gotten a lot of awareness from it. So being a Marketing Profs was great for my agency. I could see it, okay? And I saw the results immediately. Now, if you're not getting results like that and you're putting in contributing pieces or you're getting mentions or you're putting information out there and it's not getting anything, the question is, are you putting it in the right place? Are you saying it the right way? Do you have a product that anybody cares about? In the end, are you boring? And if you are, you need to fix that. If you don't have anything interesting to say, nobody will follow you. If you are not controversial in some way, nobody will listen. If you're not talking about a subject that people care about, crickets. Next. You need to be clear on your opinions, consistent in your message, and constancy means same message to the entire audience. You don't just say one thing here and something else over there. Next. And we can keep going. Building your presence online. Go. Okay. There's a million different ways to build up your presence online. You can write, obviously. I have a podcast. You could do a vlog. Video is amazing. If you decide to do video, okay, things you need to know, your file name needs to have all of the keywords that you're looking for to rank. File name is critical. File name should also be the same as the title. It can be long, but you want all of the keywords inside the file name. Publish on all of your social channels. Cross-post. It's okay to post the same thing on your blog as on LinkedIn, as on Medium. However, if you want this information covered by the media, don't post anything, because they're not going to write about you if you've already just written about something that you want them to write about on Medium. If it has showed up anywhere else first, you will not get coverage. So if you're looking for coverage, keep your mouth shut and go straight to the journalist. Okay. How do you get to the journalists? That's a whole, okay, you know what? We'll go to there. How do you get to the journalists? Now, we had a panel on that earlier today, which you obviously missed, where I interviewed 3 journalists. So how do you get to a journalist? First of all, you research. So you can do a search. Just Google search for journalists in whatever area. Search on Twitter. Most journalists are on Twitter. And then you start tweeting them. And you also research. So you read their pieces. Make sure you actually know they cover what you're asking them about. Do not spam them. You will go straight into the blacklist. Thank you. They will ban you. You persona non grata. So don't do that. So what you do is instead you get to know them, and then about 2 weeks to 10 days before your product is coming out, now you could do it 2 different ways. You could send it to several and say, okay, we have an embargo for about 2 weeks, or you can write to one that you really, really, really want to cover you and offer them an exclusive. Yes? Embargo. Thank you. Good call. Okay, so an embargo is when you say, our release is coming out in 2 weeks, so please do not write about us for the next 2 weeks. Warning, there are a few publications, TechCrunch, that doesn't always mind embargoes. So it may be that they're going to publish it sooner than everybody else if you aren't offering them an exclusive. One way to make sure that they don't publish early is to offer an exclusive. Then they don't have to worry about anybody else getting there before them. All right. Any other questions? No? Anybody else? All right, next. These are tactics. You could look at it later. Next. Promote others. So find the pundits and just get to know them. Just email them and say, you know, can we have a coffee? 10-minute, can I Skype with you for 10 minutes just to get your opinions on this vertical? Okay, especially if they're the ones that really run your space. Ad tech is very big about this. MarTech is big about this. Customer success. So there's a lot of different verticals where you have certain pundits that are really known. I realize that he's a little controversial right now, but quite frankly, Robert Scoble is still followed by everybody who's interested in AI and VR. Next. Build influence. So share information. It's not just giving them your opinion, give them helpful information. If you have a report, or you could build a report, build that report, share the report, introduce people, do favors, do everything that you can in order to be helpful. The more that you do that, the more you help others and build out others, you build reciprocity, and people help you. Keep going. Okay, on the other hand, you still have to monitor. So check Google regularly. Check your Twitter, check the lists that you're on Twitter. Check how you're doing and all the different analytics. Curate your own content and build a community of friends, a community of followers. Interact with people online. Maybe it's not going to be you who's handling it if you don't have the time. And by the way, I absolutely agree with Sean that hiring an agency when you've just started and you're in seed stage, you don't have that money. You do this yourself. And you go after the junior person in the publication, and you get to know them, and you raise up. That was absolutely perfect advice. You come to us after Series A, Series B, you're so busy that you don't have the time for it, and you need somebody who knows what they're doing in order to make sure that everything is perfect. That's what we're here for. Keep going. What not to do. Do not, for the love of God, do not spam. Do not send 1,000 journalists your press release or whatever and get on 1 million blacklists. It's not worth it, and it will burn you at the end of the day. Don't post any revealing photos unless that's what you want to be known for. Be very careful about what you put online. And if you're going on to Twitter, don't follow 1,000 people if you're only followed by 12. That's a signal, okay? One very strong signal is if you're following more than you're followed by. It basically says your content isn't very good. So be careful about that. And don't share too much. Think about, is this interesting for my audience? Keep going. Now, where's the ROI? Everything has to have an ROI. And things to look for here would be uplift. Remember how I mentioned in the marketing, after the Marketing Profs article, my Google Analytics site traffic went up, on LinkedIn, profile traffic went up. So if you're actually, where are you posting? Look to see if you're building awareness. Why is this important? Think about how we buy. We don't just buy something because we've heard about it the first time and we go straight there, all right? PR is not something that works overnight. That's the reason why it takes months for it to start to build. People need to hear about you the first time, and depending on where you're at, it could be 110, 1,000 times if you're going after an early adopter audience versus laggards. It's going to take more time. But you have to build that trust. And trust happens by hearing about something multiple times. And PR is effective in that PR is the easiest way to get to the widest audience possible, because how many people are reading that publication? It's a way to scale your marketing. It's a way to scale your awareness in a way that nothing else can. Nothing else, because you can't spend that much money on ads. After you get to a certain point, you know that your ad worth is starting to go down. So spending that on ads would be ridiculously prohibitive. But getting really good placement in PR brings exponential rewards. If there's zero uptake, it's either your message or the publication. So you need to figure out where are you going and what's the right way to go.